Welcome back to your CompTIA Security plus SY0-1 training. In Lesson 1, Security Foundations, we established the critical role of a security professional. We defined our three main objectives with the CIA Triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We also learned that these goals are constantly challenged by the DLP Triad: disclosure, alteration, and denial. Now, in Lesson 2, we move from theory to implementation. We will learn how to build a robust defense by implementing security controls, the specific measures that actually fulfill our security objectives. Over the next session, we will cover security control categories: technical, operational, managerial, and physical, the essential gap analysis process, and practical data protection principles like encryption, DLP, segmentation, and isolation. Let's begin by defining how controls are categorized and applied. Let's define the core concept of this lesson: implementing security controls. As security professionals, we manage our organization's risk environment. Technical and business leaders determine the level of protection needed to preserve the confidentiality, integrity, and availability (CIA) of their systems. They express these needs by writing control objectives. A control objective is simply a statement of a desired security state, like ensure all customer data is encrypted. However, the objective itself doesn't actually carry out the security activity. That's where security controls come in. Security controls are the specific measures that fulfill the security objectives of an organization. They are the firewalls, the policies, and the software that actually perform the defense. Once we know what our control objectives are, the next crucial step is gap analysis. Cyber security professionals are responsible for conducting these analyses to evaluate existing security controls. Here's how it works. During a gap analysis, you review the specific control objectives for a system or service. Then you examine the security controls currently in place that are designed to achieve those objectives. If there are any instances where the controls do not meet the control objective that is defined as a gap, these identified gaps are extremely important. They should be treated as potential risks and must be remediated as time and resources permit. Remediation is how we close the gap and manage risk down to an acceptable level. Security controls are organized into categories based on their mechanism of action, the way they achieve their objectives. You must master these four categories. 1. Technical controls. Technical controls enforce confidentiality, integrity, and availability (CIA) in the digital space. Examples: firewall rules, access control lists, ACLs, intrusion prevention systems, and encryption. 2. Operational controls. Operational controls manage the processes we put in place to manage technology securely. These are often the day-to-day security tasks. Examples: user access reviews, log monitoring, and vulnerability management. 3. Managerial controls. Managerial controls are procedural mechanisms focused on the risk management process itself. Examples: periodic risk assessments, security planning, and incorporating security into change management practices. 4. Physical controls. Physical controls are security measures that impact the physical world. Examples: fences, locks, fire suppression systems, and burglar alarms. Exam focus. Remember that many control objectives require a combination of these categories. For instance, preventing unauthorized data center access might use biometric locks. Physical, regular access reviews. Operational, and risk assessments. Managerial. CompTIA. Note: these control categories are unique to CompTIA. Study them carefully for the exam. Beyond categories, CompTIA also divides security into control types based on their desired effect. This classification is crucial for the exam. Here are the 6 key types. Preventive controls. These controls intend to stop a security issue before it occurs. Examples: firewalls and encryption. Deterrent controls. These seek to prevent an attacker from attempting to violate security policies. They discourage the initial attack. Examples: vicious guard dogs and barbed wire fences. Detective controls. These identify security events that have already occurred. Example, intrusion detection systems IDS, corrective controls. These remediate security issues that have already occurred. Example, restoring backups after a ransomware attack. Directive controls. These inform employees and others what they should do to achieve security objectives. Example, policies and procedures. Compensating controls. These are controls designed to mitigate the risk associated with exceptions made to a security policy. They provide an alternate way to maintain security. Exam note. The Security Plus exam is short to test your knowledge of the various control categories and types, so know these cold. We often encounter situations where we cannot meet a literal security requirement due to business constraints or technical issues. In these cases, we use a compensating control. The general idea is simple. A compensating control finds alternative means to achieve an objective when the organization cannot meet the original requirement. This balances the impossibility of perfect implementation with the desire to manage risk. The PCI DSS model, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, has one of the most formal compensating control processes. It sets 3 strict criteria for a compensating control to be satisfactory. It must meet the intent and rigor of the original requirement. It must provide a similar level of defense, sufficiently offsetting the risk the original control was designed against. It must be above and beyond other PCI DSS requirements. A practical example: imagine a business application only runs on an outdated operating system, which is prohibited by policy due to vulnerabilities. The company cannot upgrade, so they have a policy exception. The compensating control would be to run that vulnerable system on an isolated network, with little or no access to other systems. This dramatically reduces the risk even though the literal requirement up-to-date OS is not met. Remember, compensating controls are often adopted to address a temporary exception. Organizations should always have a remediation plan to eventually comply with the literal meaning of the original control. Security professionals spend a significant amount of time focusing on data protection. Our role is to serve as stewards and guardians, protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability (CIA) of sensitive data. To protect data effectively, it's essential to consider the 3 states where data might exist. 1. Data at rest. Data at rest is stored data that resides on hard drives, tapes in the cloud, or on other storage media. This data is prone to theft by internal or external attackers who gain access to the system and browse its contents. Primary control. Encryption, technical control. 2. Data in transit. Data in transit is data that is in motion over a network. When data travels on an untrusted network, it is open to eavesdropping attacks by anyone with network access. Primary control. Transport encryption like TLS/TSL or VPNs. 3. Data in use. Data in use is data that is actively being processed by a computer system. This includes data stored in memory while processing takes place. An attacker with control of the system may be able to steal sensitive information by reading the memory contents. We use different security controls to safeguard data in all 3 states, building a robust set of defenses to protect our vital interests. The most fundamental control for protecting data's confidentiality is encryption. Encryption technology uses mathematical algorithms to protect information. It applies protection to data in 2 major states, while it is in transit over a network and while it resides on systems at rest. The core benefit is that encrypted data is unintelligible to anyone who doesn't possess the necessary decryption key. This process makes it safe to store or transmit sensitive data even over otherwise insecure channels. Encryption is the digital padlock that ensures our data remains confidential. Next, we cover data loss prevention or DLP. DLP systems are crucial for enforcing information handling policies to prevent data loss and theft. DLP systems work by searching systems for unsecured sensitive information and monitoring network traffic for removal attempts. They can block the transmission quickly and alert administrators to DLP environments, agent versus agentless. DLP operates in 2 main environments: Agent-based DLP uses software installed on systems. It searches for sensitive data like credit card or social security numbers, often in unlikely places. Host-based DLP can also block undesirable actions, such as blocking users from accessing USB removable media to prevent exfiltration. Agentless DLP. These are network-based devices. They monitor outbound network traffic, watching for any transmissions that contain unencrypted sensitive information and block them. They might block the traffic or automatically apply encryption, which is common for email. DLP mechanisms of action. DLP uses two primary mechanisms to identify data. Pattern matching, watching for the telltale signs of sensitive information like a number formatted as a credit card or a database of sensitive terms such as top secret. Watermarking, systems apply electronic tags to sensitive documents. The DLP system then monitors for unencrypted content containing those tags. Watermarking is also used in digital rights management (DRM). The ultimate goal in managing sensitive information is data minimization. The best way to reduce risk is to simply destroy data when it is no longer necessary for the original business purpose. If it doesn't exist, it can't be stolen. If you can't completely destroy the data, we can use techniques to transform it into a less sensitive format. De-identification and obfuscation. De-identification. This process removes the ability to link data back to an individual, reducing its sensitivity. Data obfuscation. This transforms the data so the original information cannot be retrieved directly. We have several tools here. Hashing. A strong hash function transforms a value into a corresponding hash value. Tokenization. This replaces sensitive values with a unique identifier using a secure lookup table. Masking. This partially redacts sensitive information, such as replacing all but the last 4 digits of a credit card number with X's. The cautionary note on hashing. While hashing offers strong protection, it has a major flaw: the rainbow table attack. If an attacker has a list of possible values for a field, like all student IDs, they can pre-compute the hashes of those candidate values and compare them to the hashed values in your file. For this reason, hashing sensitive IDs should only be used with extreme caution. We now move to access restrictions, which are fundamental security measures that limit who or what can access sensitive resources. Access restrictions help minimize the risk of data breaches by ensuring only authorized individuals and systems can reach sensitive information. There are 2 common types you need to know. Geographic restrictions. These limit access based on the physical location of the user or system. Example: an organization might restrict access to a critical database to only those users located within a specific country or region. This prevents unauthorized access from untrusted external networks. Permission restrictions. These limit access based on the user's role or level of authorization. Example: a company grants access to financial data only to personnel who have the necessary background checks and training. This enforces the principle of least privilege. By implementing these 2 types of restrictions, we build powerful security boundaries around our most critical assets. Our last critical defense concept is network access control through segmentation and isolation. This limits access to sensitive systems based on their network location. 1. Segmentation. Segmentation places sensitive systems on separate networks. They can communicate with each other, but have strict restrictions on their ability to communicate with systems on other networks, especially the general user networks. Why? If an attacker breaches the main network, segmentation prevents them from easily reaching the sensitive server zone. 2. Isolation. Isolation takes this concept one step further. It completely cuts a system off from access to or from outside networks. An isolated system operates fully autonomously. Example: a laboratory system containing highly specialized, confidential research data might be isolated from the corporate network entirely. Segmentation and isolation are essential for achieving damage containment and are powerful technical controls against network threats. That concludes Lesson 2, Implementing Security Controls. Let's quickly summarize the vital concepts we covered. As cybersecurity professionals, our fundamental responsibility remains ensuring the confidentiality, integrity, and availability (CIA) of information and systems. Confidentiality prevents unauthorized access to sensitive information. Integrity ensures no unauthorized modifications, intentional or unintentional, occur. Availability ensures systems are ready to meet the needs of legitimate users when they are requested. To protect this CIA Triad, we must evaluate risks and design an appropriate mixture of security controls. We learned that controls must be drawn from 4 essential categories: managerial, policies and risk management; operational, day-to-day processes; technical, digital enforcement like firewalls; physical, real-world protection like locks. Furthermore, these controls must be varied in type, ensuring defense across the entire attack lifecycle. This includes a mixture of preventive, stops the issue; detective, identifies the issue; corrective, remediates the damage; deterrent, discourages the attack; compensating, provides an alternative defense; directive, informs behavior. Understanding how to classify and apply these controls is the foundation of a successful security program. That wraps up a huge amount of material in Lesson 2. Implementing security controls. Let's recap our journey so far. In Lesson 1, we established the ultimate goals of security, the CIA Triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In Lesson 2, we moved to implementation, learning how to use security controls to achieve those goals. We classified controls by category: technical, operational, managerial, physical, and by type: preventive, detective, corrective. What's next? We've talked a lot about defense, but you can't defend against what you don't understand. In Lesson 3, we will dive into the cybersecurity threat landscape. We'll examine the different types of threat actors, from script kiddies to nation-states, and explore the crucial concept of threat intelligence. This is where we learn who is attacking us and why. Don't miss this crucial step in your CompTIA Security Plus training. If this lesson helped you, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications for Lesson 3T. Thank you for watching. Stay secure.